I'm gonna show you how to go from basic to bougie in 3, 2, 1, showtime. Hey guys, hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time tuning in. I have a really exciting video for you today because guess what? It was a requested video. Somebody actually requested me to do a video, and I'm just so flattered that, you know, you trust me and you trust my advice enough to want to hear what I have to say. And so basically, this video was basically to talk about how I'm able to afford my luxury designer items or just things in general, because I use all of these tips for any and everything. And so without further ado, I'm gonna go into tip number 1, which is perhaps the most obvious one, which is to shop sales. I would say at least 75% of the things that I own are sale items. Like that goes for everything. That goes for clothing, that goes for home decor, that goes for everything in my life. I try to just find it on sale. And oftentimes a lot of stores will have 2 big sales a year. And this goes for luxury stores and department stores as well. They usually have 2 big sales a year, one just before the summer begins and one right after Christmas. Notice I said after Christmas, because they're trying to get rid of just things from the previous seasons. And a lot of times you want to buy things that aren't like so super trendy. I mean, because a lot of trend stuff does go on sale because obviously it was a trend and the trend is over. But you want to look for the classic things that are perhaps in a seasonal color that you still like it, you still love it, it's been on your list, but it's just a seasonal color, but it's a seasonal color that you know will come back. And so that's the best time to kind of purchase those things. And then in addition to like the mid-year and the end of the year sale, there's usually like 2 more mini sales in between, and these are actually sales that come when the season starts. And so sometimes you're able to get stuff that is actually new before anyone else has it. And so that's another thing that you want to pay attention to. And so when I say, like, of course, like if you're shopping like regular fast fashion, everyone knows Zara sales happen twice a year. Everyone knows the Victoria's Secret semi-annual sale. Everyone knows the Nordstrom half-yearly sale. But even when you're looking at luxury goods like Farfetch or My Teresa or Saks, like Neiman Marcus, like they have sales. And so you definitely want to pay attention if you have something on your list and it's a high ticket item. You want to think about, okay, let me wait till June or let me wait till December, because that's when they're going to go on sale. Now, of course, some brands just don't ever go on sale, or some things just never go on sale. And so if you're looking at Chanel, like the Chanel bags aren't ever going to be on sale, but Chanel has other items that, believe it or not, do go on sale. And I want to say these are the brands, like the big brands that are kind of trendy that people are wearing that always go on sale. Number 1, Saint Laurent. That is my favorite brand of all time, but Saint Laurent is notorious for their stuff being on sale or going on sale. Balenciaga, Givenchy, Bottega, Gucci, actually you can find some sale items in Gucci, some sale items in Fendi, but you know, the big kind of trendy Instagram influencer brands, Saint Laurent, Givenchy, and Balenciaga, they do go on sale. And so you definitely want to pay attention to that. Number 2, which is actually my favorite tip because it combines 2 of the things that I love so much in this world, which is fashion and travel, is get stuff when you are overseas. If you are American, you know that we have this thing called sales tax, and it's not factored into the item. It comes, it is on the item after, like you see what the sales tax is after you actually go to the till and try and pay for the item yourself. And so I don't believe, I know Delaware doesn't have sales tax, if I'm not mistaken, and there may be one other state, but for the vast majority of states, there is sales tax on the items that you're buying. And I don't know, I think there are some outlets in Delaware, but for the most part, like these big designer stores are in New York, 8.5% sales tax. California, in some places, 9% sales tax. Miami actually is 5% sales tax, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not too bad. I live in the DC area, so our sales tax is about 6%. And so when you travel, because most countries have cents, the sales tax is actually factored into the item already. And if you are not from that country, when you come back home in the airport, you can get that sales tax back. And so this is what I've done to actually get 2 of my bags that I can remember. The first one I've spoken about before is how I got my Louis Vuitton, what's it called, the Alma BB. I got that in Heathrow Airport. And I believe at the time it was going for about maybe 600 pounds or so, like in the stores. And I got mine for 400 in the airport because it's duty free. There's no sales tax on it. I got my Gucci Marmont velvet bag. I know people are saying that bag is out, but I actually still really do love that bag. It's my holiday season bag. Again, that's another thing that I purchased from Heathrow Terminal 5. Like, it's amazing. And if you don't want to, you know, maybe your layover isn't that long, or you're just not sure, you want a wider selection, because again, sometimes they don't have everything in the stores at the airport. You can actually, say you're in London or say you're in Paris or wherever, you can't actually get the item in store, in any of the stores. And when you're at the airport, you can give them your receipt and say, hey, I'm American, and they will give you the money back. Even in stores, sometimes they will give you the money back. I know Harrods does this in London, where you can buy something with the VAT tax already included and go to a special section of the store, and they will give you like the money, the tax that was already added back, because you don't have to pay tax, you're not from there. And you save money both ways, because oftentimes, like, when you convert the pound rate or the euro rate into dollars, it's already cheaper. It's usually maybe like $100 cheaper. And then you take off the tax on top of it, you're saving a significant amount of money. And so I always say, if you're planning a trip, it's great to, you know, treat yourself, and then you'll remember that bag or that thing as, oh, I bought this while I was on vacation. So it's doubly satisfying. Also, I have heard that in Hawaii, a lot of the what do you call it? A lot of the goods are, the designer bags and stuff are up to 20% off mainland US prices. And so guess who's planning a trip to Hawaii right now? So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3 is outlets. I talked about outlets a little bit in tip number 1 and 2, but tip number 3 is outlets. And I'm not just talking about your run-of-the-mills kind of outlet store where you have a Gap outlet or you have a Coach. Like, no, not those outlets, baby. Sawgrass Mills in, I want to say, Fort Lauderdale, Miami has a Saint Laurent outlet, which is where I got my opium heels from. They have a Gucci outlet, which is where I got my Gucci shirt from. They have a Fendi outlet, they have a Valentino outlet, and they have a Prada outlet. Like, real stuff that you want to buy, you know, because I feel like some outlet stores, they only have stuff that is made specifically for the outlet and is not necessarily what you want. But I can attest that I went to all of these stores. I didn't buy it for everything from all those. I actually was planning on not buying anything, and I ended up getting the heels and the shirt, but they do have things that you would actually want to buy. I think the owner, or like the parent company, is Simon Outlets. If that's wrong, I will put, you know, the real people who own it, but they have another one in New York. I forget what it's called, Woodbury Premium Outlets. And they have another one in California, which is Desert Springs Premium Outlets. So the one in New York, which I'm also kind of planning a trip to, also has Saint Laurent, also has Balenciaga. I want to say they have Givenchy. I want to say they have Prada. They have a Dior, which is, you know, I would like to see it. And yeah, and the one in California has a Balenciaga, and, you know, so basically just go on the website, look through whichever one's closer to you, plan a trip, and you can get up to 20-30% off things as well. I know that I was on the hunt for a particular bag from Balenciaga, and I called them to see if they had it in stock, and they said that they did, and it was retailing for about $200 less than it normally costs, and they have a bunch of Balenciaga city bags. So if you want to buy that bag, number 1, I don't ever recommend buying that bag full price. get it pre-loved or, you know, go to an outlet. So that brings me to tip number 4. I just mentioned it, pre-loved. There is no shame in this game, okay? The pre-loved market for luxury designer goods is insane. It is literally insane. I look on the pre-loved market before I look on the actual retail market, because a lot of times people buy things, they use it once or twice, and they're like, I'm done with it. And what you don't want, I do. I can't tell you how many handbags I have sold on the pre-loved market. Sometimes I actually buy handbags to resell them, and so like I have bought bags in Europe for a cheaper price, for a way cheaper price, because obviously I got the tax off, I got it at the airport, and then brought it here and then sold it. Used it for maybe a couple of times and then sold it, and either got more than I paid for the bag or equal to what I paid for the bag. That is not always how it works out. A lot of times, if you sell a bag, you're actually gonna be losing money from what you bought from it. But I don't think about it as I'm losing money. If I bought a bag for, let's say, $1,000, right? And I used that bag for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, and it's still in pretty good condition, and I sell that bag for $500, $600, that means that I didn't actually spend $1,000 on the bag. I spent $400, which in my mind is a lot more. So it just makes a lot more sense than, you know, dropping an entire stack on the bag. And so the pre-loved market you definitely want to look into, especially if you're trying to get classic items that just seem to be going up and up and up and up and up in price literally every single year. You don't want to do that. So geez, I think a Chanel bag right now is up there with Hermes prices for the Birkin and the Kelly. And so even on the pre-loved market, it is still a lot of money. And so my personal tip is that if I am going to buy something pre-loved, it needs to make sense. It needs to be significantly less than what I would pay for it if I just bought it, you know, not pre-loved. And so to me, that is, I'm getting at least like 30% off. Like it needs to be at least 30% cheaper. Otherwise, it doesn't really make sense to me, and I'll just get mine brand new. That's how I look at it. Or it's something where like maybe it's super trendy and I just don't want to really invest in it. And if I just want to see if I'm gonna like it, I will get it pre-loved. Some of my favorite pre-loved sites are Fashionphile, only because like, number one, they have a great selection. Number two, I think their prices are the most reasonable. And they have a kind of like a layaway program where if you're really thinking about something, you just don't have the money right now, you can put down a deposit and then you have 60 days to, you know, pay the rest of it, and then they'll ship you the bag. They will not ship you the bag until you actually pay off the bag entirely. But it's a way to kind of put something on hold if you're thinking about it, but not sure, you don't want to make that dive just yet. They also will take the bag back if you don't like it. A lot of pre-loved sites don't do returns or refunds. They would only do it if the item isn't authenticated. And if they're not authenticating your item, why are you even shopping on that website? So definitely yes, Fashionphile is my #1 favorite. A lot of my pre-loved items come from Fashionphile. And you can also sell bags to Fashionphile as well. I will say, when you sell into Fashionphile, could be a little stingy, but it just kind of takes off that hassle of trying to sell it to like someone that you don't know, and you know, like they rip you off or whatever. So Fashionphile is definitely up there. And then after Fashionphile, I like Rebag. I don't think I've bought anything from Rebag, but I have sold to Rebag, and Rebag's prices to me are a little bit higher, but I think that they have a good, they really source their inventory really well. Like you can find some really nice bags on there. And then there's the Real Real. I don't think I've gotten anything off of the Real Real, but I've been into the Real Real store in California. I really liked it, and I tried to sell a bag on the Real Real, try to consign it, but I didn't like their method because it was like they only consign, I think, at the time that I went at least, so I wouldn't get my money until someone actually bought the bag. And they said like the bag needed to be repaired and like all this other stuff. And so yeah, but those are like the 3 main ones that I look at. Of course there's also Poshmark, but Poshmark is another story for another day. And then there are like vintage stores all around your city. There are some that, you know, have stores across the country, and then there's some that are just like city specific. My favorite one, I think it's called Second Street. Yeah. Second Ave is the thrift store. Second Street is the high-end one. I first shopped there in Pasadena, and I got this vintage Chanel bag that I've been trying to get rid of, but people are telling me to keep. It's very unique, but I got that from Second Street. And then they have, and the prices there were really good. They had a lot of Chanel, under $1,000. They had a lot of Gucci, Dior, like, so the one in Pasadena, bomb. I then know that they have one in either the Village or Soho. I'm not sure. They have one in New York. That one's okay, but the prices were more on the higher side as well. So yeah, that is the fourth tip, Preloved. And then the fifth and final, which is one that I just got hip to and has been a lifesaver during this panoramic that we're in, is following, what do you call them? Personal shoppers on Instagram. Personal shoppers, private shoppers. So personal shopper is a little bit different. Well, they are personal shoppers. They're just digital, online only personal shoppers. But these are people who either work for a department store or just really like fashion, and they go in and they just look for things that are on sale and they post them. And you know, if you like what you see, you DM them, they'll buy it for you and they'll ship it to you. They do charge a fee. Usually the fee is like maybe 10%, maybe 5%. It's not a lot. But usually they're only posting pictures of things that are on sale. So it wouldn't make sense for them to post things that are full price because you could just go get it yourself. But they go and they ransack through the sales that are going on in Saks and Neiman's and like Bloomingdale's and Nordstrom. Like, they just spent hours on end in the stores looking up pieces that are on sale. And a lot of times, like, there's a lot more inventory in the store than there is online, because obviously we all have the access to go online, but not all of us can shop at a Saks in Houston or, you know, wherever. And so they're able to find like hard to find items. And I have purchased a pair of Ray-Bans from Nordstrom on sale, a pair of Jimmy Choo shoes on sale, and I think there was one more thing that I've also got from a personal shopper, but I highly recommend them. I'll put a list of my favorite ones in the description bar, but if you are looking for shoes, you definitely want to follow Designer Hall. She's really good for that. If you're looking for handbags, you want to follow XO Shopper G. I don't know. I'm going to put the links to all the ones that I follow in the description box, because these girls have saved my life. And also, like, it helps me understand that when it comes to sales, like, there's so many times this has happened, and they don't just do it for in-store stuff as well. They also do it for websites. And so they scour through the websites, like, because every so often these websites will have like a random glitch or like a random sale in the middle of the night, and you gotta be quick. You gotta be quick and grab it before it's gone. And so they do a lot of that, just posting links. And there are a couple of times when, like, I've seen stuff and I've wanted it and I've DM'd them and oh, sorry, it's sold out already. But what it's helped me realize when it comes to like luxury stuff is, like, take your time. Like, that thing is always going to be there. You might lose out on the sale. You know, it hurts. There have been many things that I've wanted and just didn't have the money for at that specific time. And I didn't get, and it crushed me. But then, like, 4 months later, I saw it pop up on one of these people's pages. And so that is like the one tip that I have. Well, I have 3 tips. I've given you 5 ways to actually get stuff for the low, but then I'm gonna give you 3 like money management tips when it comes to fashion. The number 1 is take your time. You don't have to try and attain a lifestyle that is just not within your reach right now. You will get there. Look at it as a goal. So if you can't afford it right this second or right now, make it a goal. Figure out, you know, how you can get from here to there, in a realistic way, in a way that's going to be beneficial to you, not in a way that's going to put you into like thousands of dollars in debt. And so, you know, if you see a bag and you're like, man, that bag costs so much money, like, let that be a motivation for you to work harder, look for something else to do, look at what you can sell in your closet or whatever, so that you can achieve that, because it'll feel so much better when you actually work towards that thing. Number 2, while I did say take your time, also, if you have the money and you see something on sale, buy it right then and there. Like, the money will come back. I promise you, the money will come back. I know that this sounds completely contradictory to what I just said, but this is for the ladies specifically who do have the money. Like if you see something that you have wanted for a while, it is in your size, it is in your shade, it's in whatever, and it's on sale, grab it. Buy it first, think later, because a lot of times you can return. If it's final sale, then okay, you might want to take a little bit to pause and think if this is really what you want to do with your life. But if you can return it, buy it. Just buy it, because someone else is waiting in line to put that thing in their cart and check out. So buy it, look at it and say, okay, I definitely want to keep it, or you know what, I don't want to keep it. That's what I did with this shoe that I showed you in my last video. It's like the Bottega Veneta sandals. Like I was umming and ahhing about it, and I bought it and it came and it showed up and I was like, you know what, I like these, I'm gonna keep them. But there have been other things which I've purchased where I'm like, no, I can't justify the amount of money I spent on this. I actually don't like this as much as I thought I did, and I just returned it. Like I used to be really bad at returning stuff, but now I'm like, nah, we are basically in a recession. We don't have time to hold on to things that are not serving us and cost way too much money, and that goes for every aspect in your life. So yeah, the money will definitely come back, but it's hurt me. There's so many things that I've wanted and I thought too long about it and I lost them, and they definitely hurt, and I had the money to get them. And then I also think about it as, you know, why are you buying this thing? I am someone who loves fashion. I love handbags specifically, but I really enjoy fashion. Like, and sometimes, like, while you know, everyone should buy clothes so that you can wear them, sometimes I buy them just to collect, just because I like having them. I display them. I like to look at my money. Like, that's how I am as a person. Some people do stocks, you know, some people do trading, some people do real estate. I like to look, touch, feel my money. So that's the other tip. And then the last one is no shade to anyone, but please do not buy replica items. Don't do it. It's not cute. We can tell. And here's the thing. There's a difference between a dupe, and then there's definitely a difference between a replica item. A dupe is something that is inspired by another piece, and I actually like it because I feel like they let you kind of test out a style if you're unsure of it, or, you know, like they give you like a little bit of satisfaction without spending a whole ton of money. And then sometimes you like the dupe so much that you want to invest in the real thing, or sometimes you're like, I actually didn't wear this that much, or sometimes you're just like, I know I'm gonna wear this first season and never again. Like, I like dupes for that reason, and dupes make it known that they are dupes in some way, shape, or form. Like, you know, when the Bottega square padded heels came out and everyone was spending, you know, thousands of dollars on them, I was like, I don't even know if I like this shoe, and I don't like that price. And so I got a dupe from, what was it? Public Desire or something, Ego shoes for like 20 bucks, and I wear those shoes all the time, and it's no shame in my game. I will rock them, and you can tell that they're not real Bottegas. Like, if you know fashion, you can tell that they're not real Bottegas, and they're not trying to be real Bottegas. They just took on the style and, you know, they improvised on it and made it their own, and actually like it better than the Bottegas. And I actually think Bottega items are items that you should actually look for a dupe, because number one, they're ridiculously expensive and they are very trendy. And so I don't know that I want to invest so much money in something that might look so dated in 2-3 years. And so the Bottega pouch bag, I feel like if you're gonna go get a Bottega pouch bag, you want to get the one that's like has the basket weaving or like a different kind of texture. Don't just get the plain one, because I feel like that can easily be duped, and you can get that anywhere for so much cheaper. So yeah, a replica. You know what a replica is, TikTok crew. Like, I've been seeing so many TikTok videos on, oh, I got this replica bag on DHgate, I got this replica bag on Amazon. And it's basically when, let's say it's a Chanel bag and you're buying it for $50, $60, and it has a Chanel logo on it, it has a Chanel authentication card, it has a Chanel, like, basically it is trying to imitate exactly that luxury item. And this is my take on it. Not wearing designer items says nothing about you. It says nothing about you. Wearing designer items also says nothing about you, really. Like, it doesn't mean anything. But wearing fake designer items says a lot about you, because it's like, when I wear my designer stuff, I'm not trying to be like, oh, I have money, or oh, I have taste, or oh, I have style. I'm wearing it because I like it. And when I wear my dupe, it's because I like it. But when you wear a replica, it's basically you want people to think that you can afford something that, I'm not gonna say that you can't afford, but like, but you weren't willing to invest in it. Like, why do you want, like, why are you trying to put on a perception for to other people that is not real? Like, we're too old for that. So those are my tips. Hopefully you like them. Hopefully you want to see more of these kinds of videos. Definitely give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and let me know what else you want to see. Thank y'all. See ya later, friends.